The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. Hang murderers. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen.
Welcome to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I would like to start off by thanking the Negro family who delivered to the studio this wonderful polka dot bow tie. I didn't know how to tie it, but praise the Lord, there are some Negro exploits in the studio, and they tied it for me. I just love a polka dot bow tie because the former Prime Minister, Sir Lyndon Oscar Pindling, he wore a polka dot bow tie. And I'm excited to see my spiritual advisor walking in. So this is going to be a powerful day. My spiritual advisor is here. So once again, I welcome you. It's kind of cloudy as I left my Bainstown and Grandstown office heading here to the studio. In the course of the show, I'm going to have a special guest, Dr. Nicolette Bettel. So she's going to join me after I had my daily rant. But when I return, I'm going to tell you a story of how I met the devil in Kelly's Hardware. I'm going to tell you about it and how my faith is being tested. I have to constantly pray and fast because wicked people think that they can attack me, they can ridicule me, and then they get a shock of their life that I remember. And when I'm in a position, I attack them back. And then they lie and say that I was the aggressor, when in fact, I was originally the peacemaker. And since they attacked me, I attacked them back. So I can give you that personal story because there's a Negro male by the name of Wendell Jones. He's powerful. He's a multimillionaire. He cursed me out yesterday. Say I tell all kind of lies on him. And when I drew to his attention how this dispute arose, he denied it. He denied it. And so, since he's powerful, got good international contact, made all that money selling the land to the United States government, of which he say he is angry that I'm talking about it. Well, Wendell, don't you know public record? Huh? Well, stop bothering with me. And if you stop bothering with me, I wouldn't bother with you. So when I come back, I'm going to have to tell you about Wendell Jones and all the things that he run on. Boy, he could show off just because he richer than me, just because he owned TV station, just because he got radio. He think he's better than me. But I'll have you to know, Wendell, you are not better than me. And if you don't draw back, if you do not draw back, Wendell Jones, I want you to know that I am a title search expert. And I'm prepared to take the information and whale your backside because you picked the fight with me. And I ain't scared of you. I ain't scared of you. But there's a lot of things to talk about. And when I come back, we'll discuss some of these issues. This is Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live here on ILTV in Nassau, the Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker, and praise the Lord, my spiritual advisor, though he was lost, he's now been found.
Like the prodigal son.
Bradley Roll. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, Senator. How are you?
I am fine. Welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you so much for your invitation to Freedom March. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. You're one of the greatest known political activists in the Bahamas, though I have been experiencing some very, very disturbing complaints. You have had some people who've been complaining about you,
really?
Mr. Monker. Yeah,
what sin are they accusing me of?
I think you need to try and see if you can correct those.
Okay.
There are some who would think that you're just too critical of the government, just having been in office. Tomorrow make a month?
Really? Isn't tomorrow's the 10th?
I believe tomorrow's the 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Because today is the 9th.
Yes, absolutely.
And after the 9th comes the
10th.
Praise the Lord. And what are they suggesting to do?
Well, let me let you get on with your show. We could always talk about it another time, but it is a pleasure to be back here with you on Freedom March, Mr. Monker.
I understand that you have been doing little private landscaping work. Is that so?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had some very powerful F&Ms who have contacted me because they've seen me here on the show and asked me to do some work for them.
This is powerful. So the show is a blessing.
Yeah, because they say they don't mind your noise. It's just helping them all the more.
Well, this is powerful.
To be great as a people.
Well, that is my job. I'm going to help them to be great. Listen, my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll, is a landscaping, am I saying it correctly, Bradley?
Absolutely, landscaper.
Expert.
Yeah.
And I need to supplement his income. So listen, I want you all to call Bradley. And the good thing about it is he's a saved man. He's going to give you a day's work.
Honest day's work for honest day's pay.
So Bradley, what is your cell number? Or you want?
My cell number is 544-2257. That is my business cell number. And of course, my personal cell number is 423-0675 for those who want to contact me and discuss maybe some religion.
Well, this is powerful.
That's one of my other expertise.
How much do you charge for discussing religion?
No. Religion is free. Religion is free.
That's powerful.
Religion is free, but landscaping does cost a price.
Okay, so if you all need anybody, the best person is to get is Bradley. So I can supplement his income and keep him here with me on Freedom March. It's powerful.
Absolutely.
Well, the politics continues in the country. And I want my people, the Negro people, to continue to watch the government. Dr. Minnis, our Prime Minister, appointed a Negro male who 43 years ago I used to lift up. I could see him now. Mon could lift me up. So I used to say, come, and I would lift him up. But I think I'm beginning to have certain regrets. I should have missed and dropped him because he is now the minister responsible for housing. And guess what? He is also the minister responsible for the environment. What is his name?
Romel.
Help me.
Is it Romel Fierro?
How do you pronounce it?
Roman Ferreira.
Okay.
Romel Fierro, yeah.
Well, okay. Unfortunately, I have difficulty sometimes with pronouncing these names. But my spiritual advisor, you will pronounce it one more time.
Is it Romel Ferreiro?
Romuald Ferreira. I'm going to call him Romy for short because when I used to lift him up in 1974, I used to say, come, Romy, and I would lift him up. Now, he's a fine gentleman. He's the Minister of Housing. But here is a Negro male who went into what the constituency where the gas people.
Marathon.
He went into Marathon and he raised a powerful alarm over the fact that the people in Marathon were being poisoned by the leaking gas and oil. And as a result of the political campaign he waged, he was successful in being elected as the F&M Member of Parliament. So that is what he's done. But today, in the newspaper, he announced that the government is about to construct homes. Where? Down the road from the city dump. You heard me? Here is a Negro male who's an attorney trained in environmental laws and in the environment. But what does he propose to do for black people? He's going opposite Coca-Cola on Samilo Butler Highway. How many feet from the city dump, the poisonous dump, the dump that the F&M got $25 million to resolve and to solve? But Minnis and the F&M mismanaged the $25 million. I want to know from Rummy, which land are the government using? That's very important. I want to know. Because the article, my spiritual advisor, in which Rummy is involved, he says that they're building it opposite Coca-Cola factory.
Opposite Coca-Cola factory on Malabat Highway?
Yes.
Do you know who owns that property?
Who owns the property? Well, speak, my spiritual advisor.
Well, you know what? Let me, because I might offend you. Let me leave that alone. But
Listen, I want to know.
That's decent, Loretta Butler Turner.
Loretta Butler Turner owns the land?
That's where the old Haitian village used to be.
And Loretta owns that?
Absolutely.
That isn't true.
Okay, well.
That cannot be true.
Well, you go and find out.
She does not own it.
Okay.
Because if she did, it means that the former government leader, Allison Maynard, and those misled me. Because that was one of the resolutions that was passed in the Senate before our term expired. And I did a whole dissertation on that. And I told the PLP I was not voting for it because I didn't think that any housing ought to be built there in view of the proximity to the city dump.
I don't know if you can put that directly in the doorstep of the city dump, Mr. Monka, like you would probably the other housing community. It's a distance away.
So let's examine it.
It's a distance away.
Let's examine it. Where do I reside? I reside in Bainstown and Grandstown. One night, as I arrive home, I could not see the building.
I can understand.
I want you to listen to me, my spiritual advisor, because you must stop covering up for the F&M.
I'm not covering for anybody.
But you are.
I'm just saying it's not the doorstep.
When
it's not the doorstep.
It is the environment. It is the wind. The city dump.
So if it's that case, then it's the whole island. If
it is the whole island. But we're now talking about the proximity of the city dump to the property that we pass. The government acquired that by resolution. I was the only member. No, I'm wrong. I was among those senators who voted against it. Who were the senators who voted against it? Jason Monet Gomez and Mr. Jude Knowles, Senator Jude Knowles from Long Island. I led the attack on it. And I argued, listen, how we could build so close to the city dump when we have a problem now with that subdivision, which is on the western boundary.
What is that? Jubilee Garden?
Jubilee Garden.
Yeah, Jubilee, right.
All right? So here is a Negro man who say he's concerned about the environment, and he does not go and examine physically the land and to get a measuring tape and measure from the city dump to the property opposite Coca-Cola.
Probably a mile.
You do not build.
Probably a mile or
You
mile
do
and a
not
half.
build.
Thereabout.
You do not build any more low-cost housing in the proximity of the city dump when we know that there has just been an environmental report telling us the danger.
Right, but he is, of course, the Minister for the Environment, right? And they've been given the task to deal with the issues concerning the city dump. So I would assume that he has enough confidence in him and his ministry to deal with the city dump. that when they decide to start the housing project, that the dump wouldn't affect it.
Come, my spiritual advisor.
I mean, that's just my 2 cents.
Dr. Menace, and in the last F&M administration,
Right.
they received $25 million.
That's 2007, was it?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What have they done? Menace and the F&M mismanaged the money. No one has been able to give an audited account, a forensic examination as to what was done. Now Rummy, the so-called environmental minister.
Why do you say so-called?
Because if he is an environmental minister, the first thing that Negro would have done is to go and visit the land and then get a measuring tape and measure the city dump, its proximity to this place.
But do you realize, though, that just west of the Coca-Cola company, there are a lot of houses that go almost 3 miles to Gladstone, well, about a mile to Gladstone Road.
What is
from
your point?
Coca-Cola? Well, my point is that if you go east, I mean, what's the difference? It's all the same area.
Listen to what I'm saying. I am not talking about existing houses. I am talking about the proposed new subdivision in which you are going to bring new citizens into a disaster zone.
No, the area is perfect because just east of Milo Butler Highway would then be Faith Avenue, where you would find areas like Hampstead Road and the rest of those areas that have pretty decent homes. That whole block,
how it becomes,
that whole block is just basically vacant. I see no problem with them putting houses
that's
there.
That's because you do not understand the environmental impact of the city dump. You don't build no more homes in proximity to that.
The government promised they're going to fix it.
Yes, but we know
gonna fix the dump.
record of the F&M has been that they collected the $25 million and they never fixed the problem.
But you don't know the record now. That's the problem. You don't know the record now. So we have to give them an opportunity. Let's let them fix it. Yeah, let's fix it. Let's let them fix it.
And to expose citizen to the most deadly cancer-causing disease. Can you remember what that...
Dioxin, was it?
Dioxin.
Yeah.
That is what we are exposing our people to on the whole island. And now, Rummy Ferreira is now saying that they are going to construct homes on that land. And one of the things that I criticized the PLP over when that resolution was introduced is that it failed to tell us what it was going to be used for. Only now for the F&M and their stupid self. They're now going to put more black people in a zone where the dump will kill them.
Anyhow, be that as it may, Mr. Monko, let me ask a question. How many homes did the PLP build within the last 5 years?
I don't know and I don't care.
That's interesting.
Because it has nothing to do with
I figure you wouldn't care.
No, I don't care. Because that is irrelevant to what my complaint is about.
I understand your complaint about the dump. I understand that.
And you should not want to encourage our people to be placed in an area that is going to have such a tremendous impact on their health.
See, I could understand your argument if you were to place Jubilee Gardens in the equation, but that area just east of the Coca-Cola company, I feel is a fairly decent area to build some homes. That the dump wouldn't directly affect that unless there's some issue with the dump and we have some winds.
But there is an issue with the dump.
I understand that. I'm just using figure of speech. I understand that.
Come on.
I understand that.
Do you love black people?
Of course I do.
Look over there.
But Mr. Monko,
do you love black people?
Black people, white people.
Do you? Ain't no white people going in there? You think white people stupid? Eh? They ain't going there.
Ah, boy.
Huh? And I'm saying to you that Rummy, who knows better, all right? This is not an ordinary Negro. This is a Negro who's trained in environmental science. So why would he now subject a new set of black people by putting them in this disaster zone? Comes my spiritual advisor.
I wonder how much complaints you think the Coca-Cola factory has concerning the dump.
I'm not concerned. And I don't want you to cause me to attack them people, eh? All right? I want you to focus on that something is fundamentally wrong. That's all I'm saying, man. Come on. Why build so close to the city dump? Why build so close to the city dump? That's all I'm asking you. Something is fundamentally wrong. And Romy knows better because he's a trained attorney in environmental law. This is a man who is on the group called Save the Bay. All Romy them want to do, they want to save the bay. They want to save fish, but they don't want to save people. They're not interested in saving the lives of black people, but they want to save shark. They want to save title, but they don't want to save black people. And I say that the landfill has been classified as an urgent public health hazard. And so that report was compiled by the Pan American Health Organization. So if Menace loves black people, and if Romy loves the Negroes, why open a subdivision so close to the city dump? Huh? These are imposters. These are fakes and fraud. All right? Because there he was. He went into a marathon and he waged a powerful political battle, culminating.
Which was legitimate.
There
was a legitimate complaint.
And therefore, the legitimacy now turns to Samila Butler Highway, where we, in the Senate, that came before us, and I led the opposition in voting against it. Because the PLP didn't tell us what it was going to be used for. And I said to them, since you ain't telling me what it's going to be used for, I'm suspicious, and we are voting no.
I want you to check the ownership of that property, though, if you get a chance to.
You heard what I just said? Whoever owned it.
I understand what you're saying.
We confiscated it. We took it away by resolution. You heard me? We took it away. So that isn't owned by her. It is owned by the government of the Bahamas. I think for the Ministry of Housing. All right? And I voted against it because nobody would tell me what this land was going to be used for. The lands that they gave me an explanation for, I voted for. All right? But that one, I led the opposition in rejecting it. And now we have Romy, that Negro environmental minister. He won't put house so much feet away from the city dump. Lord Jesus.
That's quite a distance, actually.
My spiritual advisor, let me take you there. You obviously don't, your geography is confused.
You're looking almost a mile.
Well, a mile is just down the road.
A mile due southeast.
My Negro people are in trouble.
Yeah, 1 mile due southeast of the
My
landfill.
Negroes people are in trouble. How?
A mile is a pretty good distance.
Just hold on, eh? Lord, I bring the Negro people before you and the level of leadership. Lord, touch the evil heart of Romy forever and Dr. Menace, that they will not put no more of my people near the city dump. This is Freedom March. I'll cast them out when we return again.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live here on ILTV in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And of course, my spiritual advisor and biblical scholar, Bradley Roll. Bradley is here. Bradley, I don't know what I would do without your spiritual guidance.
You make me sound so important, you know, but that's okay. I appreciate you.
But you are an important citizen, and I thank God for your kindness in being here with me.
Absolutely.
Well, today, my special guest is Dr. Nicolette Bettel. She is a professor at the University of the Bahamas, and I think Miss Bethel, as I welcome you to Freedom March, let me start off by saying, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you very much.
And would I be correct in saying that the word teach might not be a good word? You lecture in sociology?
Yeah, okay, let's use that word. I teach, lecture, yes. I work in sociology, so I lecture, but we also do a lot of research.
Okay. Well, once again, I welcome you here talking about sociology because, you know, at 60, I'm still trying to learn.
That's a good thing. Having
been miseducated. What is sociology?
Sociology is the study of society. It's a study of groups in society, and it is one of a series of academic studies that came out of the 19th century, which was a century of change in Europe. And it came out of the need to try and solve certain problems that Europe was going through at the time. And so it is something that looks at social issues, social problems, trying to understand how society works, but also it has developed ways of actually studying society in such a way that it seeks for solutions.
This is powerful. Is it really a science?
It all depends on who you ask. It's a social science, and what that means is what the social sciences are is they took the methodology that was developed for the physical sciences, i.e. the using of observation, the using of what we call the empirical method, which is using your five senses to understand the world, rather than using received wisdom and philosophy. And what we do is you look at the world and you say, what do we see? How do we understand it? Because such great changes had happened by doing that with the physical sciences. They said, well, let's do that socially. So they look at society in this particular way, and from studying society using what we call the empirical method, i.e. just looking to see what people do, and then maybe interviewing them to find out why they do it, the idea was you could find out enough about society that you could begin to solve social problems.
Wow, this is powerful. Have you ever heard about a concept in which there are two categories of Negroes? King George III, 1760 to 1820, and King George VI, 1936 to 1952. Have you ever heard that kind of concept?
No, I need to be enlightened on that one.
Okay. And I was wondering, as a sociologist, if, for instance, I categorize a particular Negro class as King George III Negroes, what would I have to say to them to figure out whether or not my theory is correct? Based on what you just said to me, in Europe during the 19th century, there was a lot of changes, and they decided that they would approach it from a
scientific perspective.
Yeah. In which they asked various groups of people why they were doing certain things.
Well, yeah, okay, so that was one way it was done, but sociologists didn't start there. Sociologists started simply by observing what people did, by examining the basic things that were there. One of the earliest studies in sociology simply took the statistics, the census statistics from France, and started to look across the various groups to see what trends existed. So to go back to your question, what you would have to do is you'd have to outline your theory. First of all, your theory about King George III and King George VI. And then you would outline the things you wanted to find out to test about your theory. So you'd have a theory and you'd want to test your theory. So this is what we would call hypothesizing the situation. You'd say, okay, this such and such is the case. This causes this. So then we would design some kind of way of studying to see whether X caused Y.
Wow.
And then you would carry out some kind of study to test and see whether your theory is correct or not. This is the difference between, say, sociology and the things that came before it. Philosophy would be a question of sitting down and thinking through a problem and applying logic. But logic would be the primary method of getting to an answer. But in sociology and the social sciences, you start with a theory, but you want to test the validity of the theory. You don't start off by saying, okay, my theory is right. I feel it's right, but I don't know it's right. I can't know that it's right until I actually conduct a study and see what's actually happening on the ground.
If I needed UB experts to assist me, once I would have advanced the theory of a King George III Negro as opposed to a King George VI Negro. Do you have people at the University of the Bahamas that has that kind of training?
Oh, we have the people who would have that kind of training. You'd have to find out if they would be willing and interested to work with you on that particular project.
All right then. All right. Well, that's fair. It's what is today's date, my spiritual advisor?
May the 9th.
May 9th. Tomorrow.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Tomorrow is election.
No, it's June the 9th. June the 9th. Sorry, June.
It's June 9th. It's June 9th.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tomorrow would be June 10th.
Yes.
Which would have been one
1 month
since we've had an election.
Yes.
Now, you would recall that in the course of the campaign, a grassroots man advanced a political argument that we should boycott the beach, boycott the election,
Yes.
and go to the beach.
Yes.
While the intellectual,
Yes.
a small segment, argued that we should go and vote and spoil the ballots
If one wished to.
if one wished to. Now that the election is over, if you had to call for the people them to spoil their ballots, would you do it again?
I have never called for the people them to spoil their ballots.
It was not you?
No, it was me who talked about spoiling the ballots, but I didn't call for the people them to spoil the ballots.
Oh,
I
please
said,
forgive me.
No, I said that if you have nobody that you wish to vote for, you might go to the beach with Mr. Monker, or at the time the senator, or you might wish to go and cast a ballot but not vote for anybody, and you have the option of spoiling it. I never called for people to spoil it.
You never?
No, I
It's
told
amazing.
people. No, I know all kind of things. You say all kind of
it's
things, and then
amazing. The
the radio
FNM
just goes on and talks
But
about
the
what you
FNM
didn't say.
Yeah, the FNM had me confused because they keep saying to me, it was you.
I didn't attach any particular body to it. I didn't know it was.
I'm telling you,
No, the FNM had you confused.
Had me confused.
Well, I wasn't terribly confused by anybody. People just seemed to think that we were telling people to spoil the ballot. That wasn't it. What we were saying is, there is an option.
okay,
You don't have to vote for the people they put before you.
okay.
You can reject all. And you don't have to not go to the polls. That's one option of rejecting all. But another option is going to the polls and voting for none of the people on the ballot. That was what we said.
If you had to say that again,
Yes. Would I say it again?
would you say it again?
Yes, I would.
Even in the next election?
If you have nobody to vote for in the next election, I say that option still remains.
How then do we ensure that voters do have someone to vote for?
That is the question of the hour. That is the question we would love to be discussing. How do we ensure that? The first thing that we need to do is we need to let politicians know what it is that we demand from them. I think we have started to do that, but we need to sustain that. We need to make sure that politicians know exactly what kind of representation we are willing to support. And if we're not willing to support the representation they give us, then we still have the option of spoiling the ballot.
What kind of representation do we want?
I don't know. I can't speak for we.
What kind of
I can speak
representation
for me.
do you want?
Well, I would like representation that looks at the country as a whole and recognizes where we are in time and space. And one of the things that has disappointed me about elections of the past, and certainly at this point, when the Bahamas is really entering a transitional mode, we have been served very well by the models that we inherited from the past, but those models are not working for us anymore.
Give me an example, and please speak in a language that I could understand.
You don't know what I mean by a model?
Well, I understand. When you said model, I thought you meant like a woman in bikini.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So the model that I'm talking about in this particular case is the model of development. So
Okay.
let's say we have this idea that the way in which we get money in our economy is we have two major industries, tourism and banking.
Really?
Neither of them.
I thought one was drug smuggling.
No.
We have never admitted that one. And that one isn't working so well for us either right now.
Okay.
That was working okay in the past.
All right.
Ladies.
Smuggling. Okay, I don't want to get into that.
Yes, don't get into that.
Because, yeah.
You want to talk about the legitimate
Let's talk about the legitimate industries.
and
But
what
let's
are they?
talk not only the legitimate industries. Let's talk about the industries that are available for the government to invest the money that they make out of it in above the board. Sorry. Oh, I knocked down
Margaret Piddlin.
Dame Marguerite.
Dear
Sorry.
Margaret, she didn't mean to do that.
No, I
Okay.
certainly did not.
Go ahead.
But so we need to be talking about the kinds of things that make it into the government services. All right, and the revenue that we have that we're getting in right now from these traditional industries
Well, give me
are
an
not
idea.
covering our expenses.
Give me an idea when you talk about these industries. In my mind, one of the first one that I think of, but which Negro leadership has not been able to appreciate and to properly manage, has been agriculture. Are you talking about
No, I'm not talking about agriculture because
are you
that is
talking
not
about?
one of the industries that we have used in the past.
what are they?
The two industries we've used in the past are tourism and banking. And they've brought in a lot of money. Basically, what we can look at is we can say, okay, globally, there are different levels of industries. Okay, so you have agriculture, which is food production. Then you have industry, which is manufacturing of things. And then we have the services. And the services are exchanges of things like transitioning, money changing hands and things like that. So that would be banking and tourism. The Bahamas was in the services industries a good 30 years before the rest of the world caught up. So in the 1950s, when Stafford Sands came up with this model that said, okay, the Bahamas' main sources of income are going to be banking and tourism, we were ahead of the world curve. Most of the world was interested in agriculture, industry, and they dismissed things like tourism because they felt that that was going to be too volatile and so on. The Bahamas invested all of its time and energy in developing these two industries, and it worked really well for us. The problem we're facing is that we are now one of a pack, and we haven't changed our models. So we're using fairly obsolete models to generate our revenue, and the rest of the world has caught up and surpassed us. And I would like to have people elected to my government that recognize this and are looking actively to find different ways to bring in revenue, because the ways that we're bringing in the revenue right now are not covering our costs.
Can you suggest another way that we can bring in revenue?
Well, I think I don't. Okay, so when you say can I suggest another way, I don't think that tourism is tapped out. I don't think that tourism is a bad way. Tourism is one of the fastest growing industries in the world.
How can we improve it then?
We have to be able to improve it by changing the model. We have invested very much in cruise ship tourism, in large resorts, in tourism that is foreign investment oriented, tourism that is based around casinos and resorts and the beach and so on. Mm-hmm. Whereas our competitors are investing in much more different experiences. And so
you need to give me an example, because I'm that kind of Negro. I spent my tourism dollar here in the Bahamas.
Well,
I don't go nowhere.
Okay.
So what do you mean?
So you don't go to Miami?
No.
You don't go to England?
No.
Okay. You don't go to Cuba?
No.
Wow. Okay. Do you go to Long Island?
Yes.
What do you do in Long Island?
Well, in Long Island, the last time I was there, I was running behind one Conky Joe man.
Okay, I don't know if that...
I said to him, "Stop in the name of the Queen!" And all I did, as I landed, I just served subpoena on them. Subpoena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So you would not be a typical tourist. So let me not.
Oh no! I had to spend money. I had to rent car.
Yeah, you did have to rent a car.
I had to rent car. I had to
Hotel.
catch the mail boat.
What about a machete to help you run through the bush behind the man?
No, I didn't think about that.
Oh.
Because Long Island had good roads. And of course, I had to wine and dine.
Yes.
You
Okay.
see?
Good. So that kind of thing is one way of diversifying the economy.
Then I go to Crab Fest.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, festivals and things like that.
Right?
But one of the other things that we have not really done is we have a whole structure that supports our tourism that favors large hotels over small ones. If you want to be, if you want to get some of the exemptions that are provided for you by the Hotels Encouragement Act, you have to be a property of a particular size. If you're too small, you don't get those exemptions, which to me seems kind of backward. I would say we need to retool our whole structure, our legislative structure, so that we can encourage Bahamians to directly invest in and profit from the tourism industry, rather than having our tourism still focused on large properties and cruise ships. Cruise ship passengers spend $50 to $60 per person, as opposed to somebody who stays here overnight who will be spending over $1,000 per person.
Are you suggesting that the small bone fishing lodge, is it lodge or launch, there's no provision in the law to
I don't know.
assist them?
I am
Well,
no.
I'm not going to hold you.
No. So in the law as it stands, that is, if it's under a certain size, then it would have to have a special concession to be assisted.
Okay.
And so there are things that we need to do.
How then? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we need to be able to find ways of allowing the whole of the Bahamas to develop simultaneously. Because what we have right now is a model by which development in our whole Bahamas begins and ends in New Providence. And it depends on a bottleneck at the very top, people making decisions on development, which would be the cabinet, the parliament, and the upper house of parliament, as you will well know.
Yes.
But the problem is you can't decide on all of these things. Each decision takes a particular amount of time, which means that there's a bottleneck. If there are 15 different ideas or developmental possibilities in 15 different islands, you have to see them one after the other. So this slows down development. What we need to be able to figure out is how do we restructure our whole society so that development can be taking place simultaneously on every island.
Are you suggesting that local government ought to be given more powers?
Yes, absolutely. I would suggest a lot more than that. I would suggest that we need to be thinking about devolution of power rather than saying giving local government more. It's the same thing, but if we think about it in a different kind of way by saying, okay, let us create local governments. In other words, governments that don't have to refer to Nassau to make decisions and that don't have to collect taxes that they submit to Nassau. They may you may say, okay, a percentage of whatever tax you commit, you collect goes to Nassau, but you keep those things there and then you invest them in the community. So that we can begin to jumpstart. There are a lot of ideas. There's a lot of potential. We have so much opportunity for growth. But the problem that we have is the structures that we maintain and the legislation that we have in place slows everything down and keeps power decisions about development and so on here in Nassau at a very narrow space. So it's like trying to force all these great ideas through this bottleneck. So we need to rethink. We need to think about saying, okay, so banking and tourism are not necessarily working as they used to work. Let us think about a different way of doing tourism and maybe think about a different way of doing banking as well. I don't know. Banking has changed. The world is changing. There's a digital revolution going on, and we need to recognize that the things that we made money off before are not. Those spaces are not there anymore. So we have to find.
Why is it? I mean, where has our leadership gone wrong? Because, take for instance, we've had a wonderful election.
It was a wonderful election.
Yes, it was. There is new government.
Absolutely.
These are brilliant Negroes.
They are. And it's a wonderful feeling in the country.
Yeah. A calmness. Right? And now we have a man who used to be director in one of the largest hotel resorts that collapsed before it could get off the ground. Mr. Dionuncio de Aguilar. Right? He's smart. He's brilliant. How come he figure out this wonderful ideas that you're suggesting?
Well, I don't know that I don't know that they're wonderful, and I don't know that he hasn't figured them out either. I mean, I think you might be jumping to conclusions.
You think he may have figured it out?
I don't know that he hasn't. I mean, okay, so you're talking to a social scientist, right? I have no evidence that he hasn't figured it out.
Right.
Okay.
I don't have any evidence that he has. I just don't know. I'm not going to make the assumption.
How do you find out?
Well, I mean, I guess you observe and see where he goes from here on in.
Well,
There you go.
I think in a month, 1 month's time
It's
is not enough
No,
time.
no, of course not.
it's not
Right?
enough time?
Of course
No,
not.
I don't think so.
How much time do you think he needs?
I think, okay, so I'm going to give you the answer that I would
You say because?
say a year.
There you go. 12 months.
Because
I'd say a year, a full cycle, a full budget cycle, to see what he
Because-
does with it.
I have the manifesto.
You asking me what I think. Now, you can tell me what the F&M thinks.
Right.
That's two different things.
No. I was talking about an F&M minister.
No, I understand.
Tourism.
But you asked me what I thought would be reasonable. I think a full year is reasonable to be able to observe and
A
see
whole
what happens.
year?
Yes. It's a
For
full
tourism.
in anything. In
Goodness
anything,
almighty.
because it's a full calendar year. You don't know what problems are going to come up. If you get into a new job, you don't know what problems are going to come up because it's a cycle and it's an annual cycle. You have to. I think that we should be very, very critical and pay very close attention, but I would not come to any final conclusion until we have observed for a full year. You asked me about sociology. We observe, and then we take our time and we try to get enough evidence so that to support whatever conclusion we come to. We don't want to jump to a conclusion. So I may feel that he's going to do a great job or he's not going to do a great job, but I cannot know, and so I don't.
We must give him a year. Okay.
I would give him a year. I'm not speaking for you,
I know.
Mr. Monka, but I would give him a
I'm
year.
going to listen to you. Denuncio, I'm convinced that I'm going to give you 1 year.
Everybody got to get a year.
No. Only him.
Oh, why only him?
Because there are some other persons that I can't give a year.
Okay.
Unless you can give me an argument.
No, it's the
For
argument
it.
holds. The argument holds for them all.
No.
Okay,
no.
who doesn't it hold for, and why not?
Well, I mean, what about agriculture? Here we have a man who is the minister of agriculture. He has no training in agriculture. And the man who has the training in agriculture, they put him in charge of sports and culture. I should be give him a year as well.
Yes, because a minister doesn't make. The minister is not the person. We have this idea that ministers
What is
make a difference. Ministers are simply the policy representative in the ministry. Whoever is the Minister of Agriculture, the same people are working for him. The same policies are there. The same issues are going to be faced.
No new policy?
No, the policy may change, but the way in which they're implemented are the same. Everything is the same. You come in and the structure is the same. The only way in which these things can change is, okay, you may say, we have a policy now, we're going to be investing in agriculture. But the best way to deal with that is you're going to need to take that to the House of Assembly and create legislation and write new laws and change the foundation. Because the ministers really, we believe ministers have a whole lot of power that they don't actually have.
They don't?
No, they're...
Explain that to me.
Well, a minister is the representative. Collectively, ministers have power when they sit in the cabinet. In the ministry, they are the cabinet's representative and the government's representative in that ministry. But the people who have the actual power, the people who can actually do things in a ministry, are the civil servants. A minister can direct, and in most cases in the Bahamas, a minister will direct and the civil servants will follow. But the civil servants don't actually have to follow the minister.
Really?
They do so because he is the minister and the representative of the government. But if the minister is mistaken, if the minister has overstepped his boundaries,
That's
if the
true.
minister has done X, Y, and Z, the civil servants will say, Minister, I'm afraid that is beyond your ability to do. We can carry it from here, or they should. Because that's their authority. We believe that ministers are little potentates who can do anything. And I think even politicians think that. But they're not. We have a system and a structure in place which says that the minister comes in and he says, this is where we're going, this is how we want to go there. Some ministers are more hands-on, some ministers are less so. And then the people who work in the ministry are the people who implement.
This is Freedom March. My special guest today is Dr. Nicolette Bettel. She is a professor at the new University of the Bahamas. And of course, my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll, he's here. And so far, has she committed any sins?
I've learned a lot.
So when we come back, I will ask her about the University of the Bahamas and how long we should wait for Dr. Minnis to give my people, the Negro people, free education. I'll be right back.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Back to Freedom March, broadcasting live here on ILTV, right here in Nassau, Bahamas. I salute the two Negro women that I ran into today, Sister Roll and Sister Smith. Listen, I am so proud of you, and I thank you for the kiss. And I'm excited that you did reject gender equality. And so I thank you, and I also thank you for once again acclaiming your submission to the rule of man. God bless you. And to the woman them at ZNS, listen, it's a new government, eh? Y'all better stop watching the show for a minute's fire y'all, okay? But in the meantime, I salute y'all. I understand I have a phone calls. Welcome to Freedom March. And get the text ready. Hello? Is the Negro citizen there? Hello? Hello once. Hello twice.
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
Hi, Mr. Monka.
Hi, how are you?
Mr. Monka?
Yes? Okay, I hope somebody didn't hang up on her. Call back, sister. Anybody else there? Hello? Hello once? My spiritual advisor, do we have some text?
Yes, Mr. Advisor, don't forget, it doesn't matter how far the subdivision is from the dump. Once it's burning, the whole western area will be impacted. They have to fix the dump first, then we can talk about subdivision being built. That's one text.
I thank the text writer. Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monker. Can you find out if Solar Verde Bahamas Limited project development by CEO Rita Grant and Andres has it begun as yet, or will it happen for Andres?
My spiritual advisor, please note that, and we will investigate that at some point. Go ahead.
What is this?
Yeah.
Mr. Monka, I love your bow tie. Did you want me to read that?
Of course. This is the kind of bow tie that Pinling wore. It was always polka dot.
Hey, Rodney, let's start a trend. Let's get some flags made up by saying the woman name. Hopefully it will spread throughout the community. Let us buy in what we believe. I think that's what it's... Or let's go with Freedom March flags.
Okay. What next do we have?
Mr. Monka, I trust that all is well with you. I need your assistance as soon as possible.
Okay.
I was fired from BAF Financial on Independence Drive
Really?
last August. Now this is a long... Okay.
Give me the essence of it if you think it's long.
Okay, I was fired from BAF Financial on Independence Drive from last August 2016. And from then to now, it's not paid what I'm entitled to.
Well, you better...
1 cent.
Well, come to me, because the last time I went to that place, they pay all the people that they owed. So come to me. Okay, my spiritual advisor.
Phone call us back, right?
Welcome to Freedom March. Well, that caller gone. Welcome to Freedom March. That caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monka.
Hello, my dear. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and you?
Okay.
Mr. Monka, I see you have your lovely neck.
Bow tie.
Good afternoon to the spiritual advisor, and good afternoon to Miss Bethel.
Good afternoon.
I called to comment on your lovely necktie.
My bow tie.
Your bow tie, yeah. I see you got your polka dot bow tie.
Yes, there was a family who was being oppressed by Bahama and some foreign restaurant owner. Wouldn't pay the man, and after I traced them out here on Freedom March, all the money end up in the bank.
Yes, and he bought you a necktie and appreciation.
I told them
lovely necktie.
Yeah, I told them don't pay me no money.
And
send me a bow tie.
by the way,
Yes.
about her talking about the ballots, what she was saying about the ballots, even if you mark no to each one of those, the ballots them still would have been spoiled.
Yes.
So regardless of how you did mark the ballots, if you didn't want any of those persons, it still would have been spoiled, right?
That's exactly right.
She agreed with you.
That's exactly
I
right.
know it would have been spoiled. But she gave good advice. Go on the beach if you don't want to vote.
Or if you do want to vote.
Woman, I said, I had PLP, and I can't vote for the F&M if they give me $1 million.
Okay. You still PLP?
Yeah, man.
Well,
What?
let me-
I stole by woman.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Use the mango skin woman?
Yeah, old by.
All bite. Oh, I thought you said all white.
No, man. Old by Kid Island.
Okay. Yeah, use PLP.
Yeah, man.
Well, I thank
know
you. You take good care.
The spiritual advisor.
Hey.
I go whip him because he's still trying to find women on this show while I listen in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he shouldn't do that because he's a saved man.
Yeah. Well, I'm single, so I could have about 2 or 3, y'all. Don't matter.
But I thank you very much. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello?
Yes?
Hello, can I? Mr. Moncur, please.
Speaking.
Mr. Moncur, this is a lady always watch your show every day.
Okay. You're wonderful.
Your spiritual advisor, he is not for you.
Really?
Don't care what you say, he tried to knock you down. But let him know, I am a PLP and nothing will change me under the sun.
Are you really a PLP?
Oh, yes, I am a PLP.
But I'm going to test you. PLP!
All the way!
PLP!
All the way!
Yeah, use a PLP. Take good care.
Okay.
Okay. Tell the woman them. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Rodney, it's really a pleasure to talk to you. I want to say good afternoon to Dr. Bethel and your special advisor.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm okay. Listen, I want to go back. You mentioned something about Jubilee Gardens early and the burning of the dumping.
Yes.
The new subdivision.
Yes.
How about this? How about relocating those people?
Yes.
I mean, if that site is a legitimate site, I mean, if it's out of harm's way, those people need to be moved. So I would suggest that effort be made to relocate those people to that new site.
No. You can't move them. Listen to me.
But
do you know where Coca-Cola plant is on Samala Butler Highway?
Yes.
Well, that is where they propose to put this new subdivision.
Well, yes.
And once there is a fire, right, and there's wind, it engulfs the whole island. And Coca-Cola is less than a mile from the city dump.
Yes.
So that is irresponsible.
We can't take the island or the dump. So what we got to do is at least we could move the people away from there.
Okay.
At least some people.
Yes.
Those people who are in harm's way, they should get the first preference to be relocated there at least.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you,
that's a good start.
I support your argument of relocation, but I'm telling you, taking them about 1,000 feet south of the dump.
No, Ronnie, that's a little bit more than that. That must have been half a mile.
Well, even half a mile. Do you know where I reside? I'm in Bain and Grandstone. And when there's a big fire and smoke, I can't find my way.
Yeah, but I live in Coral Harbor and I choke all the time when the dump is burning.
Now you got the point. So what they need to do is move the dump.
Okay, move the dump or relocate the people.
Move the dump.
Okay, move the dump or relocate the people. At least that's a good start.
You can relocate them, but not opposite Coca-Cola. Go down there one day and take a look, eh?
Okay, thank you very much.
Or call me. I got a 200 feet tape. We could measure.
Okay.
All right, take it
I
care.
can bring mine just in case yours too short.
Okay, you're a good man.
All right.
Welcome to Freedom March. The Negroes call me a lot, you see?
That's fine.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
What's on your mind?
I'm calling from Freeport.
Wow, welcome, Freeport.
And Mr. Moncur, you're doing a wonderful job.
I thank you.
Be encouraged.
I shall.
Don't mind the naysayers the critics. But anyway, I went to my son's graduation today.
Yes.
And they had all 4 government schools together. It was a disaster.
What do you mean?
I don't know whose idea it was. Jeff Lloyd was there, and Iron Lewis came. But see, it was supposed to start at 10. He came late
trying to rush through the crowd after everybody stood in line waiting, trying to get through the door. The police blocked it off. The security's lined off at the doors.
Really?
And they told us that we could not get in. And they locked all the people outside until Jeff Lloyd finished speaking. Then they let the rest of the parents in.
Well, you know,
People were being stampeded.
Jeff is an arrogant man. I know him well, you know.
Listen, I don't know who put that graduation together.
Yeah.
But never again should they ever do that. That was a disgrace. They treated the people like animals today.
Well, I want you to write a letter to the Prime Minister.
And you pay $175 and you can't go and watch your kids graduate.
Oh, it's horrible.
It was shameful. You should see how they treated the people today.
Wow. Anyway, we have to pray for them. But in the meantime, you should write a small note to the Prime Minister complaining. Document it, okay? And you take good care.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any more calls? Welcome to Freedom March. Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mungo.
Sir, how are you?
I'm fine, yourself.
What's on
your guest? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's on your mind, comrade?
I want to find out, Mr. Mungo.
Yes?
I want to find out, why do the government and do not try to invest on the outer islands? You know, they don't invest on the outer islands. Build hotels on the outer islands, right?
Yeah.
Take the gas, sell the outer islands. Every month we have a regatta somewhere. Build hotels out there. Get the local people in. If they get a ship, buy a ship. Take the tourists in from here. Take them over. They loot for them and stuff for 2 days, and they have Pineapple Fest. Go to Long Island Regatta. Go to Exuma Regatta. And let the people have somewhere to work, live, and sell the outer islands. No government tried to develop the outer islands. Everybody that's worrying about the Bahamas.
Well, that is
and when they get lost, they sell all the keys.
That is
we had
what...
700 keys. Now we only have 2 keys left.
Only
so
2
all
keys?
MPs sell them all the keys.
Wow.
Get the number of people, let them buy a cruise ship, put the casino on it. Get the tourists, and when they come in to Nassau, take them to the Lutra when they have home fest, Pineapple Fest, Crab Fest, all these regattas. Let them go over there, get hotels on the outer islands, and let the tourists then go over there.
It's a wonderful idea.
The outer islands of the Bahamas and spend money and let the people who from these islands go back home and live and have somewhere to wait and just make money.
What island? What island are you on? What island do you live on? What island do you live on? Hello?
Nassau.
You're Nassau. It's a wonderful idea, and I'm happy that you live in Nassau. Sometimes you got to put these ideas on paper and take it to the government. Don't forget, it's the people's time.
Ago.
And it ain't wait.
I gave that years ago.
Well, when you have time, send me a copy.
I started social science also.
Okay, well, Dr. Bettel, you perhaps should get together with her. Because she supports a change, isn't that so, Dr. Bettel?
Yes, yeah, but I mean, I'd go further than that, because I mean, what you're describing is kind of like what the Anchor Project thing was all about, setting up hotels on all these different islands. But the problem with setting up a hotel on a particular island, if it's a hotel of a particular size, which is what the Anchor Projects were, is that you're not considering it's the same thing with Bahama, you're not considering the strain on the actual carrying capacity of the island. In other words, if you build a hotel, you need to think about, okay, now this hotel is going to be generating a whole lot of trash. Do we have a dump that can handle it? This hotel is going to need a certain amount of air transportation. Do we have the ability to handle that? So I guess my response to that is, I would go further than that, and I would say, give the people who are on the islands...
You take good care, and thank you for the advice.
Yeah, but go further. Say, give the people the tools to create their own island, their own tourism industry, rather than sending tourists from Nassau. Let the people set up their own things.
Welcome to Freedom March. Hello.
Mr. Mungo.
Sir.
Man, how are you and your guests?
We're doing great.
Thank you.
We're fine.
Excellent, excellent. Freeport is in the building.
We're happy to have you.
Now, listen, man, we ain't happy in Freeport. The
Why?
children getting graduate in Freeport. What's going on?
Well, you wait till Jeff give you all same-sex school.
Man,
then you can know something.
Don't say things like that. You think that could work?
I don't know, because I know he had one in the bushes of Andres. And when the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingraham, discovered that it was a yeast program. Papa funded it. It is a mystery. Papa take back the money. And the next thing I know, Jeff had to close down the boot camp. And thank God.
No, man, but something need to happen. You can't put, I think it was a lack of funding when it comes with the government. That's why they put 4 schools together to graduate one time in one ballroom.
They didn't wait?
Come on, that's many parents.
Wow.
So many parents. It doesn't make sense. So locking the door, come on, man. You can hear it on the news in a couple of hours.
Listen,
it doesn't make sense.
I know Jeff Lloyd. Jeff Lloyd is a very arrogant Negro. Tout le monde haïtien. C'est pas possible pour moi pour que c'est lit en anglais. Parce que c'est illégalement. Les papas li mourir. Il pas connu avant Vasigné Santi Papa Lee. Anyway, I thank you, and I will continue to curse him out for you.
All right. Spiritual advisor, please, try talk to the man, please. Tell him calm himself down and stop beating the government what is in right now.
Okay.
Let's take your time.
We thank you. Right. Do I have another caller? Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Mr. Munker.
Good afternoon, my dear.
And how are you doing today?
I am fine.
Mr. Munker.
Yes?
My son asked me a couple of months ago, do you listen to Rodney Munker show? I said, no, man, I don't listen to him. I said, because Mr. Munker's a crazy man. But Mr. Munker, I took that word back and I apologize. Because every evening now, I stand in front of my TV and I enjoy your show.
I thank you. How old is your son?
My son is 35.
Really? He's a young man.
Yes, and I'm 62.
Oh,
I'm Jane Opo, mother-in-law.
Really? My nephew?
Yes, he married my daughter, an attorney.
I met her. She's a wonderful, wonderful Negro woman.
Yes, she is.
Wow.
Mr. Munker, I took that word back because, like I said, I listen to you every evening. You are making a lot of sense.
I thank you.
Me. Where they're going to build those homes in the back of Coca-Cola, my grandchildren goes to Garvin Times. You know how many times we had to go and pick up my grandchildren from Garvin Times because of the smoke?
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, Mr. Munker, I agree with you. It's just like a mile away from the dump.
Listen to me. I am an unusual Negro. I have a 200-feet tape, and I'm going to mobilize some of my colleagues, and I'm going to measure it. So I can tell you next week exactly the distance. They're wrong. I debated that in the Senate, and I voted against it. But I thank you, eh?
Yes, Mr. Munker, and you enjoyed your weekend. I'll continue listening to your show every evening. God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. My Negro people.
I hear you.
Yeah. Freeport, welcome to Nassau.
Good afternoon, Mr. Munker, and how are you?
I am fine.
And to your guest?
Good afternoon.
I'm straying away from the question a little bit, but Mr. Peter Turnquest,
yes?
Are they moving him from Freeport to Nassau to live where they have to pay so much rent for him, and he has a big mansion in Freeport?
Well, you know, it's the people's time, so I'm not sure what they're going to do because I discover Peter Hahn, well, actually, it wasn't me. It was decent Glennis Hanna. She found that one of the first juicy plump in the budget was for Peter. I didn't know Peter had shares in Sky Bahamas. So he may have to come here so he could really handle the cookie jar. But he has a big house in Freeport.
Yeah, he has a mansion in Freeport.
Really?
Yes.
So he ain't poor?
No, he's not.
I used to think he was a poor Negro.
No, he's not.
Okay.
But this government, I don't know what to say because the things that they say they are not going to do, they are the things they're doing.
And the things that they say that they will do, they're now pussyfooting on it.
Yes.
Anyway, just get ready because I have to come to Freeport to help you all organize some marches against them. Okay?
Oh, yes. We will march.
You're a powerful lady. Take good care.
You too, Mr. Munker.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
My people, there's no more. So you better let's talk quickly because the people there is called me.
That's good.
You see?
That's wonderful.
Now, during the campaign, the new Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, promised my people, the Negro people, that an F&M government will be putting into place free university education. And while I was angry with him, I kind of celebrated, because at 60, I need to go back to school. And I'm hoping that as a mature man, a grandpa, I would be accepted into the University of the Bahamas.
I'm sure that you would.
They would take me?
I don't see why not.
This is powerful, but I ain't got no qualification.
What you need a qualification for? That's what the university is there for.
Okay, well, this is powerful, and I'd like to come.
You have, I presume you have qualifications with which you graduated from high school.
No, I didn't graduate, you know.
Well, then there's a program that will help you.
They threw me out of high school. I kept that a secret for 43 years.
My.
They threw me out of high school, but I kept it a secret.
But you were not alone.
Okay, I can't think of anybody who else was thrown out. You know some people?
Okay. Many people have been thrown out of high school.
You better not call any names. So, what, as a sociologist, is this a good thing?
You mean free university education is? Yeah. I mean, is it a good thing? Yes, it is a very good thing. The question is it something that, is it something that will work at this particular stage in time? I have a colleague who has always advocated for free university education, coming from having ties with Europe, where that is a standard thing.
Really, in Europe?
Yeah,
the white people them.
Yeah, but they
give you.
No, but they pay many taxes to help to help cover the cost.
Okay.
So the point is that if that is what is going to happen, that has to be funded somehow.
But of course,
we don't pay income tax. If we paid income tax,
we pay custom.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing as an income tax. So, just to put it into
what do you mean by that? Because if, for instance, the Minister of Tourism, right? If he stopped evading the custom, like he did the last time, if the white man, Mr. Robert Myers, they don't defraud the government and pay the taxes, right? Because there are all kind of people who's defrauding custom.
Okay.
Certainly,
all right.
The money would be put in the consolidated fund, and we'd have money to educate the people then.
However, if we want to look at it that way, and you're talking about, so customs is a consumption tax. Basically, you pay it on everything that you use or you
But if you're collecting the taxes.
Yes, but people who have high incomes spend a lot less on what they consume.
So we need to tax them?
So what I'm saying is, if you have income tax, they would be paying more tax.
You really think we should tax Brent Simmons with that $156 million?
We should tax. If you're going to have income tax, everybody has to be taxed.
Okay, I can think about that. Let me take this call, eh?
And that is how this kind of thing is done, where it works.
Well, I don't care how they do it. I want free university education.
But it would not be as free as you think, because you would have to pay income tax.
Yeah, man.
Well, I don't care, because I'm a poor man. So my income tax ain't going to be ready.
There you go. That is why income tax is there, because you're relative to. See, as a poor man, you pay the same customs duties if you buy the same thing as the rich man.
Yeah, but ministers can change that, because what time is it?
It's the people's time.
What time is it, my spiritual advisor?
It's the people's time.
Tell them people on the hold on, because we on the countdown, and I'll take their call when we come back. You talk.
What you want me to say?
So how we can fund education?
I don't know. I mean, I heard the promise, but I didn't hear how it was going to work. So all I'm saying is,
care.
No. So what I wanted to say was,
I couldn't give 2 cents. All I want minister to do is to live up to his word.
Well, the problem is, if he lives up to his word and it doesn't work, then you ain't get no education.
Right. How you meaning awake? Minister smart. Minister's a smart businessman. All of his apartments are properly rented out. Diagula smart. Jeff,
if it works,
is smart.
Look,
I want the Negro people.
I think it is a good idea. I just don't know how it was supposed to be implemented.
They will figure it out.
Okay.
They can figure it out. These smart Negroes.
Then you will not be disappointed, and you will be able to come to the University of the Bahamas for free.
I yearn.
There you go.
I've been pushing for it from February 3rd, 1983.
So, Mr. Monka, we will see what happens, and at some point we may welcome you into the University of the Bahamas.
Wow. Can I come and do sociology?
And you could do sociology.
And what about medicine?
You could do biochemistry.
Okay. And what about law?
You could definitely do law.
Really?
Yes.
If I have free universal education.
Even if you pay.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about because I can't afford it. I have with me a mulatto woman sitting in the midst of two Negro males, Dr. Nicolette Battle. I'm trying to get her to support Minnis' argument of universal education. And I don't care where Minnis get the money from. I just want him to live up to the promise. This is Freedom March. I'll be right back in a few minutes after the break.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV here in Nassau. And of course, my name is Rodney Monker. My special guest is a professor from our local university, the University of the Bahamas, Dr. Nicolette Battle, and my spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. Bradley is a biblical scholar, and he perhaps should take up a job at the University of the Bahamas.
Yes, to teach people
this is great.
Either Judaism or Christianity.
Amen. Dr. Battle,
So,
please forgive me for talking loud, but I'm a man full of excitement.
you are forgiven.
The
for
Free
talking
National
loud.
Movement, in the course of the election campaign, the new Minister of Education, Jeffrey Lloyd, he's advocating that we have same-sex school. What are your views of a school in which girls go to another school and boys are segregated in another school?
I don't have any particular views about it. It's a system that has worked all around the world. So
Really?
why shouldn't it work here?
Can you tell me of a place where you are aware, if you are,
Where it's worked?
where it
happens?
Where it happens.
It happens in Canada. It happens in Jamaica. It happens.
It happened in
the
Canada.
Bahamas. Yes.
This is powerful.
It happens all over. It's not a strange idea. It's
Okay.
and the idea I think behind. I don't know whether it works or not. But the idea behind it is
Canada and Jamaica.
Canada, Jamaica, Trinidad,
Okay.
the UK, France. It's a model that is used pretty well everywhere in the world.
Okay.
Except perhaps it's not so common in the United States of America, and it's
Really?
not common in the Bahamas.
Okay.
But it happens in most places. The idea being that if you're educating people at the time in which they hit puberty, and you want them to focus on their studies as opposed to on the opposite sex, you segregate them so that they focus. If they're going to focus on the opposite sex, they do it outside of the time that they're going to be mastering their studies. And that's something that it's been around for centuries, and
Yes.
it's happened all over the world.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I thank you for that, and I thank you for that information, because by your revelation, you have enlightened me on something. I didn't realize that. But next week, I shall look at a person who attended an all-sex school, and that might explain a particular political situation. But when Ms. Battle is not here, my spiritual advisor, please remind me,
yes.
because that is crucial.
St. Augustine's College used to be an all-boys school.
I'm certain you
And
didn't.
St. John's was an all-boys school.
And I'm certain that you didn't attend, my spiritual advisor.
No, I was too young at the time.
That is true. I understand
it's
that I have a
powerful.
caller on the phone. Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monker, to you.
Good afternoon, my dear.
And to you, our guests. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, one question, Mr. Monker, sir. We are approaching July 10th, and I haven't heard anything about any celebration or anything for the event for July 10th.
Independence you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
Nicolette Battle,
Sir.
you are in the University of the Bahamas.
Yes, sir.
Are the Negroes there preparing for independence?
Independence is during our holiday, so I imagine we're preparing to go on vacation.
And so the University of the Bahamas, they don't celebrate? There's nothing?
Well,
They don't do anything?
the thing about independence is that we have had 3 elections back to back, in which the election has been held in May, which if I were calling an election, and forgive me if I'm disagreeing with the prime ministers that we've had in power, but if I were calling the election, I would not call an election in May for a number of reasons. One of them being that it's in the middle of the budget preparation and it puts a great strain on the people if the government changes or if it doesn't change. It interrupts the budget preparation. But the other thing is that independence is in July. So it makes it difficult for the kinds of celebrations to go forward because, one, celebrations have to be funded and the budget has to be passed. And the budget, it's a really awkward kind of situation because the budget year starts in July and independence is the 10th of July. And if the budget starts in July, when I worked as Director of Culture, the money was very rarely released from the new budget to pay for independence before the 7th or the 8th of July. And depending on when independence fell, sometimes you wouldn't get any payment before independence.
Right.
So there are a number of issues that are challenging when we look at independence. So it's not at all surprising that we haven't heard anything about independence because we had an election and we have a new government.
And they're doing a budget.
And they are doing a budget.
Welcome to
that's the way it
Freedom
is.
March. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Mr. Monker.
Yes.
Yeah, your guest was very informative today. You know, we appreciate the intellectual stuff that she was telling us about.
Well, I told you
Thank
she's
you.
coming to teach me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, but Mr. Monker,
Yes.
your viewers on Facebook, you need to pick a day. Don't ever bring no guests back on a Friday.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because, you know, Friday is when you end in the week and you have to end it with a bang. We was looking for a more show for yourself today.
Okay.
You know,
Mr.
bring the
Monker.
guests like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Keep that in mind,
Okay.
please.
All right.
All right.
I thank you. Please do not be
Yeah,
disturbed by that.
I'm not at all
Don't
disturbed.
embarrass our guests.
I am not at all disturbed by that. I think
she's not embarrassing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
She's one of the
No.
women them.
no, she's not.
Welcome to Freedom March. Okay. Yes. So, we were talking about independence, and you say that the Negroes who are in charge of COB, because UB, they're going to they're going on holidays and so forth.
July is
Yeah.
Independence generally falls close to our vacation time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I understand that.
Which is-
And to the person who raised the question, I just wanted to say this. Don't expect to hear anything under the FNM because the FNM is always anti-independence. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, speak to me.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Monker.
Good afternoon, sir.
And to our guests, Ms. Battle and
Good afternoon.
Mr. Roll.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, what I'm calling about, Mr. Monker, since the election,
Yes.
we had some murders, but the police don't come and report it no more.
Well, don't forget now, it's the people's time, and the new prime minister says that there's a calm over the country.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget who Marvin is. I want to launch an attack on him, but every time I look at the file, there's so many PLP connected to a maneuver he was involved in. So I figured out how to attack him and move them on the side. I'll have to attack everybody. But you are correct.
Yes, sir.
A Negro lady was murdered just the other day in Baintown, and I see Travis. And ministers don't even check, because when his first cousin's son was gunshot, ministers ain't show up to the house yet. You hear me? And how I know? Because the family sent for me. And when they told me there was a minister, I questioned them. So I understand what you're saying, but we can keep the pressure on them, all right? You take good care.
All right, thanks very much.
God bless you.
Right.
So, Nicolette, the clock is running
Yes.
down. What are some of the things on your mind? Not that I'm asking you to leave early, because usually on a Friday, the spiritual advisor is required to speak to the Negro people and to warn them about committing murders over the weekend. And I want them to know that Menace has promised to hang murderers even though he is pussyfooting on it. And so he has to tell them every weekend, because, you know, it's like if we don't have a weekend unless we decide we're going to shed blood. And I'm tired of it, and I think it's time we start hanging some people. So What are some of the things on your mind about
On my mind.
about crime?
Crime is crime. As a sociologist, we know that it doesn't matter what political party is in charge. If the issues, if the systems, if the structures that people have to live in don't change, crime is going to remain the same. And the structures and the things, these are not really being affected.
When you talk about structure, what you mean?
Well, structures such as the fact that the largest majority of people, not the largest proportion of people who are, say, unemployed or who are unable to be employed because we don't have a sector of the economy that is currently functioning, are people who tend to be young and male or female. That means that people have to find other ways of supporting themselves. And criminal activity, I'm not saying that crime is necessarily related to unemployment, because there are interesting things about that we've discovered as we study. But the fact that your options are not there, you may have a job, but that is not the job you want. You're just working because you have to put stuff that leads to a level of frustration that is expressed in ways that attack society, or it is expressed in ways that end up killing somebody else, and that's not necessarily your initial intention.
You sound like you were listening to Marvin James. He's now finding an excuse for murder.
I'm not saying that this is an excuse. What I'm saying is, if this is the way in which the society is structured, and that is the cause of the high.
Welcome to Freedom March.
Okay. You want to? Because I want to just say one thing.
Just hold your thought.
Okay.
Respectfully.
Yes, sir.
They putting pressure on me in the mic. Hello. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello. Speak to me. Don't forget your thought.
No,
how you doing?
I am fine.
That's good. Spiritual advisor and Mrs. Beth, are y'all all right?
We're doing great.
Ma'am.
And that's good. Mr. Manka.
Yes?
I just want to say something. I just want to find out when Mr. Minister, the Prime Minister, is going to go into the PMH, Public Hospital Authority, and do an investigation into the audit.
Well, he was there.
The hospital administrator. They just want to find out when he's going to do that.
Well, I'm not sure. I know that him and Dr. Sands visited the hospital the other day, and they promised to build a bigger maternity ward. And I was excited because it means then that they anticipate that there's going to be a lot of babies. And I would hope that the government in the new budget would stop making provision for birth control. But I'll find out for you and I'll report back Monday.
Yeah, do an audit into, because under two administration, I don't want to call the gentleman name.
No, don't call the name.
Yeah, the administrator was investigated on 2 occasions and nothing has been done.
Okay.
I just wanted to know if he's going to do something.
I'll find out, okay?
Okay, sir.
And I'll report back Monday if God spare my life.
Okay.
Welcome to Freedom March. Is there another caller? Is there another caller? Is there another caller? Signal me. Yes, welcome to Freedom March. Hello? Hello once. Welcome to Freedom March. Speak to me. Speak to me. Don't listen to the echo in the background. Hang that phone up. The person isn't answering. Is there another person? Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monker.
Good afternoon, my love.
And good afternoon to your guest,
Good afternoon.
Spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm calling because I was listening to you, and I wanted to ask Mrs. Bethel. My daughter is a student at the university. So this promise of no fees for the children at university, Mr. Bethel, are you thinking this is going to come off the ground anytime soon?
If I had to guess, I would not put my trust in that happening anytime soon. I'm sure that may be a long-term goal, but I wouldn't look at it happening in the short term.
Maybe in the fourth year, almost time for election again then.
That would... see, you can put me on the spot. It's one of those things.
But Miss Beryl, I was so happy to hear that because my daughter is there. And you know, one day she was sitting down and she was listening to the news. And she said to me, well, why would the government, Mommy, borrow all this money if they said the cupboard is bare? I couldn't answer her because I really didn't know what to say because it really didn't make no sense.
No.
So I said, I don't know why they're borrowing. She said, but they are saying that there is no money. But how will they ever get the debt down if they continue to borrow? That's a very important question for students
So this
to
is
ask, you know.
yeah, it is a very important question, and that's the challenge. If we are already having trouble covering all our costs now, and I think the promise is a wonderful one. I think it's a great goal, but I am not sure that it is something that I will see implemented in a way that doesn't impact the quality of the education that we offer at the university in my career time. I think it's something we should all work towards. But you say when you should expect it, I wouldn't put no money on that.
Well, Miss Bell, as far as I'm concerned, the same as if it's the same old. I'm so sorry. I'm not excited about anything what's happening with this new government. Not at all.
Well, I think everybody knew what I thought from before the election.
Yeah.
People thought I was crazy.
I'm a bit disappointed.
Anyway, you take good care, sister, and be safe, okay?
Thank you.
Do I have another caller? Welcome to Freedom March.
Hi, Mr. Monica. How you doing?
I am angry, as Dr. Bell will tell me.
First time caller.
Oh, welcome.
Yes, I just want to say, I heard you said about the Minister of Health saying that he's going to renovate the maternity ward.
No, Dr. Minnis, who is the Prime Minister, he made a promise that he's going to build us a new maternity ward. And
well, actually, that promise was made by Perry Gomez, who had already drawn up the plan that an accident emergency.
Really?
Yes.
So he must...
All he's doing is carrying out what was left on the table.
Well,
they
I think...
already chosen the contract and everything.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you must keep me up to date, because
I will.
I thought this was an original idea.
No. Oh, no.
But I'm still happy because it means we can have plenty babies. Anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct that.
Thank you very much, eh? My people, they keep me informed.
There you go.
I got another caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
This is...
Monka,
Yes.
how are you and your guests?
Well, thank you.
You're doing great.
Yeah, they are great.
Excellent. I call about Inagua.
Inagua?
Yes.
It's a well-kept secret. What's going on there?
It's a beautiful place, but the Haitians are turning it into a drug island.
My people?
Yes.
I have to speak to them then. How much drugs they get down there?
Man, I don't know, but you have boats, vessels that are parked
in Inagua
with drugs on them.
Now?
As
where Marvin James is?
No, but it's happening every week during the days, during the week.
Oh no, I got to tell my people to stop it.
You can't just tell them stop it. You have the voice, Mr. Monka.
I shall. Listen, time is running out on me. Let me speak to them quickly.
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. Now that's a wonderful Negro there. Tout le monde haïtien. Est-ce que ou tande? Yon anglais réellement pour dire Inagua gen un pile drogue. Ça c'est illégalement. Stop it. Parce que si ou pas stop it, police la kembe nou, l'ale na prison. Okay?
Your operator.
Hello. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello.
Senator Manka.
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. Good afternoon to you and your guests.
Good afternoon.
Now, Mr. Manka.
Yes.
In the former administration, the National Security Minister of State set a new precedent by arming himself with firearms.
Okay.
I'm calling to find out because the public was not made aware. Do you know if Senator Keith Bell has turned in his firearm, and do we know if the new national minister now carries one?
Well, my understanding is that when... Listen, I don't know. I'll find out. And of course, you know, Marvin is the former deputy commissioner of police. So I'm certain if he wants a gun, he will have access to the gun. And the good thing about Marvin and Keith Bell, both of them have the capacity to defend their bodyguards. So that's powerful. Do I have another caller? Okay, after this caller, don't accept no other call, eh? Welcome to Freedom March, unless they're already on the line. Hello? Speak to me. Hello?
Hello?
How are you, my dear?
First time caller, Mr. Monka.
Listen, you're a wonderful Negro lady. Welcome.
Thank you.
What's on your mind?
Well, firstly, I agree with you when you're saying about the proposed site for the housing development.
Oh, yeah.
I have, my brother lives right off Fate Avenue in the Hampstead Road area.
I know where that is.
And during the last fire, the smoke was up on that side of there, too.
Right.
So that's really not a good place to put in any more housing.
Right. So I thank you for your support because...
And one more thing. The Deputy Prime Minister said during the budget debate that being in Grantstown, he's coming for the toilets.
Well...
And my thing is, why didn't they take the toilets when they won in, 92, 97, 2002?
Well, that's them trying to attack Hubert Ingram. But they're welcome to the toilet because the toilet is full. So come for it.
Okay, Mr. Monka, I enjoy your show so much.
Take good
Thank
care.
you.
Okay, do I have a final caller? Okay. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Speak to me.
Hello.
Sir.
This is Rodney Monka Show.
Yes, it is. Freedom March. That's me. I'm the Negro
Rodney,
wearing...
this Bumble 806 Bumble, man. I'm trying to get you now for...
Bumble is you? I don't know what's going on.
Bumble, this Bumble, you remember me?
I know you.
Yeah, I want to talk on your show, but because you're doing a damn good job, and somebody got to be up in the country to talk.
But Bumble,
some sense to these people here because they're going one side of the country.
Take my cell number and call me tomorrow.
What time tomorrow?
Call me about midday because I got a funeral to go to. The late Shirley Brown from Black Village.
Okay. You know what this is, right?
I said it's Bumble.
Yeah, you take care of me with my passport and everything, man.
Man, don't tell everybody the kind things that I do for people. Now, you have my cell, right?
I'll call you tomorrow.
Good.
Okay, man.
Any more call?
No.
Good. Don't take no more call because time is running out on us. Spiritual advisor, give the WhatsApp number here. There it is, 357-7469.
Yeah, the WhatsApp number or text line is 242-357-7469. That's 357-7469.
Dr. Bettel, watch the clock. You got 2 minutes because the spiritual advisor must speak to my people, the Negro people.
I have nothing really to say.
Okay.
So he has lots of time to...
Spiritual advisor, the murders are still taking place.
Yeah, and
I want you to speak to my people and tell them this is a long weekend, and we want them
It's a long weekend? We had a long weekend last weekend.
Isn't tomorrow Saturday?
Yes, it's a regular weekend,
and
Saturday and Sunday, and
okay.
we get Monday.
Well, tell them.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Monk, it's unfortunate that the murder seem not to want to stop in the Bahamas. What I can do is just try to, just impart a few Christian principles that might help us through the weekend. In the Bible in Romans chapter 12 encourages the Christian to be of the same mind towards one another. Mind not high things, but to condescend to men of low estate. It means to be willing to associate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it is possible, and as much as it lies in you, live peacefully with all men. That's the key thing, to live peaceful. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Therefore, if your enemy is hungry, you want to feed him. If he's thirsty, you want to give him something to drink. For in doing this, you heap coals of fire on his head. Do not overcome, or be not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with doing good. So the bottom line is that the Christian principle tells us that when it comes to, revenge, a lot of us feel that we have to go out and avenge another person's murder, or we have to take revenge on somebody that may have done us wrong. The Christian principle shows us that, if your enemy does you something, let's just say your enemy walks up to you and he slaps you, well, it's hard and difficult, but you turn the other cheek.
And literally let him slap you again?
Yeah. I mean, you that's the way to diffuse the situation.
Okay.
Because
I got to try that.
Yeah.
When they slap me.
It works.
Turn my cheek.
Yeah.
And see what they will do again.
Yeah, and a kind word, of course, will turn away wrath. You know, a harsh word will,
Dr.
of course,
Battle,
you know, stir up anger.
We thank you
for
coming.
I thank you.
The next time you come, I wouldn't curse out in advance, but I have to have my rants. So we thank you for coming.
So,
my people have told me that you have educated not only me, but them. And that is so important.
But, sir, don't do it on a Friday next time.
Yeah.
You should listen to your audience.
I will listen to them.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
my
true.
problem is, you know,
Yes.
but I will.
Good.
Okay? So I want to thank you very, very much.
I appreciate it.
And we want you to come back again.
Thank you.
Because there are one or two questions that I didn't have a chance to put to you.
Yes.
And at 60, I'm putting questions, you see? My spiritual advisor, God bless you. And I thank you.
Thank you too.
From keeping me from the gates of hell.
You must, however, though, I see you're struggling a bit with forgiveness. And you got to understand that that is the center of Christianity, forgiveness. If we don't learn to forgive
Who
men,
do you know that I have not forgiven?
Dr. Menace, you need to learn to.
I've forgiven him.
You have to get past Dr. Menace, and you have to get past Jeff Lloyd.
I'm having difficulty.
Who's a decent man.
I'm having difficulty with Jeff.
Yeah,
Menace, me, him, and Papa used to hang out together, so he's forgiven.
He's
but
forgiven.
Jeff, he's not saved.
You see?
Tout le monde haïtien. Jeff qui est un pile piché. Piché constant. All right? So I'm not listening to you. Jeff is not safe. Right? And my best friend, tout le monde haïtien vous connaît ça. OK? Au revoir, Malé. Tout le monde haïtien, stop it. Donc, ça, c'est illégalement pour Inagua. Listen, folks, I want you all to take good care. And we've had a wonderful week. So let's be safe. This is Freedom March. My name is Rodney Munker, and I shall be back, if it's God's will, next week. I'll see you then. Bye.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.